Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to episode 67 or 68 I think it is of our Blackburn Rovers Football Manager 2017 save. And the last time you guys left me, I believe we had drawn 2-2 against Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal have always been one of our bogey sides. We might be in the year 2021, but Arsene Wenger is still somehow going strong. You guys should already know that we beat Liverpool in the first leg of the EFL Cup at Anfield 3-0, which obviously meant we had to play the second leg still. We played a weakened side at Ewood Park. To be fair, it was quite a close game. I wouldn't say Liverpool were the better of the two sides, even though they ended up winning 1-0. But even though they ended up winning 1-0, because of our strong first leg finish, we ended up going through, and we're in an EFL Cup final. And for those of you guys who have been watching the series, of course, from day one, you'll be more than aware of the fact that not last season, but the season before that, we were actually the champions of the EFL Cup. I think it was either in our first or second season back in the Premier League after getting promotion. And talking about Arsenal, speaking of the devil, speaking of Arsene Wenger, we've got him at Wembley for the EFL Cup final. So I've been saying kind of from the start of this season that I'm not really that bothered about the EFL Cup. And to be fair, all the way through, we've kind of fielded somewhat weakened side. But we find ourselves in the final. So we look like we're on course to winning the Premier League at the moment. So if we can win the EFL Cup alongside it, I don't think I'd say no. We beat Cardiff, championship team in the FA Cup. Andre scoring in the first minute, Nigel getting on the score sheet as well, along with Piaka, who's rediscovering his goal-scoring form, as you guys will know and as you guys can see. We then beat Reading in the Premier League 3-2. Now, this was a tough game. It really was. You look at the stats, we completely dominated them, but it just kind of seemed like Reading were getting really lucky, fortunate goals out of nowhere. Gabriel Torge's strike was from at least 35 yards out, and somehow, on top of the fact that Rajkovic got an own goal, Rajkovic really messed up trying to, block Torge's shot. Fortunately for us, though, Andre Gray, 84th minute, just about managed to find that extra oomph that we needed to grab the win. And it was a hard 3 points against a pretty decent Reading side, to be honest. How are they doing in the league? They're in the relegation zone, but as you guys can see, considering they got promoted last season, they could still quite easily, from now till the end of the season, leapfrog Chelsea maybe, or maybe even Stoke, and cement themselves a survival place in the Premier League. Next game up, we had Everton at home, and to be fair, might as well show you guys the goals because it was one hell of a game. As far as this episode's concerned, whilst you guys are going to be watching the goals, we are of course going to be playing AC Milan. Now, I've mentioned this a few times before, and those of you guys that have kind of been watching this series from the start, or at least from last season, will know that we beat AC Milan in the UEFA Europa in the Europa League final last season to win the Europa League, which of course gave us Champions League qualification. We also qualified for the Champions League by finishing in the top four as well last season, which also helped, obviously. But the interesting thing about AC Milan was that they were also in our group. That was a good goal from Lukaku, good assist from Coleman. They were also in our group, and I think they beat us twice in the group stages. One of the times when they beat us, we were 2-0 up, and then they somehow brought it back to either draw 2-2 or win 3-2. So I can't quite remember how that went. But then in the final, we were 2-0 up. I can't remember where the final was, but in the Europa League final, we were 2-0 up. They somehow brought it back to 2-2. They play like a narrow 4-1-2-1-2 formation with wing backs who are unstoppable. Despite them bringing it back when we were 2-0 up to 2-2, the game went to penalties, and we eventually saw the game out on penalties and won the Europa League. So it's going to be really interesting that we're facing them again now, but a level higher up in the Champions League. I also think we might see a different tactical approach from them, which might make our lives a little bit easier because they have changed managers, and I'm not quite sure where their manager from last season has gone. I can't really be bothered looking into it. I'd be very surprised if he was actually sacked, because not only did they reach the Europa League final last season, but they also won Serie A, and they're currently on top of Serie A at the moment as things currently stand. Then again, we're top of the Premier League, right? So still anything can happen. I think we've scored about 3 at this point onwards. I really didn't expect us to put 5 past Everton. Everton have been pretty decent under Roberto Martinez ever since he came back to Goodison Park. I know we're not playing at Goodison Park, but you get the gist of my drift. We've also had quite a few players out injured recently, so it's quite nice to score so many goals, because you look at our season so far, we've not really been phenomenal when it's kind of come to scoring goals. We've kind of been better at keeping clean sheets. That's why we've barely conceded any goals in the Premier League. Recently, specifically after the January transfer window, we have kind of leaked goals, particularly obviously conceding 2 against Reading and 1 in this game, but hopefully it's just kind of like a temporary blip of form. And to be honest, even if we concede 2 goals going into the Milan game, if our strikers are on fire and midfielders are on fire, like Kerem Demirbay grabbing an assist and 2 goals, Alenya 2 assists like they did against Everton, then hopefully we should be fine. Right, so even though I said I wouldn't do it, curiosity killed the cat, right? And I had to look it up. So Montella, who you guys will remember as AC Milan manager, who drove me up the bloody wall last season, he's now actually Italy manager. And I guess winning Serie A is not really a surprise to see him then take the Italy job. But without further ado, so Champions League, first knockout, first leg. Next episode will then probably be the EFL Cup final. And then we'll have a cheeky double episode where we'll play Man City away in the Premier League, and then the second leg of this Champions League game. What's important for us at this point is not necessarily to win the game, but to at least try and prevent Milan from getting as many away goals as possible. I think it's going to be very, very tight over the course of the 2 games. Milan, unlike us, will have had quite a bit of money to dish out in the summer as well. So without a shadow of a doubt, they will have improved players from the players they had last season, because even though they didn't win the Europa League, they did finish top of their league. So they are the current Italian champions. So without further ado, Thomas Callas is doubtful. We have quite a few players out injured as well. Kunz is out injured, Varela is out injured, and Fabio's out injured. So a lot of pressure on this young lad in Varjek, but we paid 25.5 million quid for him. Time for him to put a shift in the Champions League. Let's see how we do. So I did do a little bit of scouting on this AC Milan side before obviously we've come into this game, and we will see some new names in comparison to the team they had last season. Kimpembe, for example, at left back. Tactically, they're playing a lot wider, to say the least, as opposed to how they did last season. Last season, it was more of a 4-1-2-1-2, 4-1-3-2, with a player playing just off Inaki Williams and Carlos Bacca up front in the hole. I believe that was Keisuke Honda. I'm not quite sure whether or not he's still at AC Milan, and most of the width was coming from the wing backs. But this is going to be a slightly different tactical approach. So for that reason, we're not going to try and counter too much at the current moment in time. We're playing with a 4-3-3, which means we've got the triangle in the middle of the park. So we should at all times have that extra passing option, particularly given that we're not only playing strikerless, but given the way we play and the fact that we're at home as well. Our fullbacks will start as IWBs to hopefully come inside and central when these guys push forward, but because these guys are also playing with wingers, I don't know whether or not that might cause problems for us defensively, because it leaves space for them to exploit, basically. In terms of the starting lineup, we've actually gone with the same starting lineup that beat Everton 5-1, by the fact that Douglas has come in for Romeu and Dumic has come in for Danny Bath. Nyang is back from injury, but these guys all scored against Everton. I could have moved, Rog into midfield and then brought on Nyang at right mid or right striker or whatever you want to call it. But I'm a firm believer in form. The main change that I've made is bringing on Dumic for Danny Bath, because Inaki Williams and Carlos Bacca are very, very, very fast strikers. So for that reason, I think the slightly more athletic Dumic might be a better choice for this game. And we're still kind of punishing Danny Bath for what he did against Real Madrid. And if you've got no idea what he did against Real Madrid, I don't know why you're watching this episode. Go onto my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video first, and go back to episode 1 and watch from scratch. But okay, here we go. We're not going to try and exploit anything specifically. Let's jump straight in. As always, I feel like a broken record. How we do things tactically now is a lot different to how we did things when we first got promoted or how we used to do things in the Championship. But as the game progresses, we'll change what we need to change. See, they're playing very, very wide, actually, AC Milan. I saw that straight away. And that can be both positive and negative for us. Positive because it means that we'll have a lot more men in the middle of the park, which means our short, intricate passes, the fact that they're so wide, should help kind of make more of a gap for us to operate in the middle of the park, as long as we keep our passes short and not give the ball away like that. If we concede from this, just from that poor pass, we're going to concede. 14 minutes in, we've conceded already. AC Milan's counter-attack comes back to haunt us. It's like last season, really. And that just stemmed from that long ball forward towards Marco Rog. I'm not quite sure who played that poor pass or why it was played. The goalkeeper maybe could have done a little bit better, but okay, we're down here. So if I am going to make any changes, which I am, it's going to be, we're going to step into instructions and actually just try and play a little bit shorter in terms of passing, because I don't want to see players, hoofing the ball forward, particularly when you've got Italian centre-backs playing for the opposition. So Castello is going to pick this ball up. It's a missed tackle from Varjek, and Inaki Williams makes it 2-0. That's 2 away goals now for AC Milan, and I feel like the game's only just begun, and we've not necessarily played bad. We've had most of the possession. I know Thomas Callas isn't playing. Volkvist should be doing better there. We need to change things fast. So we're going to change to an attacking mentality. I feel like at this point we have to change to an attacking mentality. We've not really got much of a choice. Even 2-2 wouldn't necessarily be great unless we can go to the San Siro and grab some away goals ourselves. We've increased our width to try and deal with the wide men. I really didn't think that they'd cause us problems like they have done. I mean, at least they definitely did for that second Milan goal, even though it was some really poor defending from Varjek. Maybe jinxed him when I said he's got to show up. We're also going to try and look for the overlap a little bit more, and our two fullbacks are basically going to change to wing-backs to try and get them further up the field. I've got faith in our ability going forward grabbing goals, but one of our real strong points so far this season is staying solid at the back, and we've conceded 2 very, very sloppy goals. We have also increased our defensive line, which isn't maybe too good of an idea given that Carlos Bacca and Inaki Williams are playing up front. But like I said, if we come away from this first leg with a loss, I genuinely do feel like unless we can do the impossible, it's pretty much the tie lost and we get knocked out of the Champions League. From a positive perspective, it will probably mean that we can focus on the Premier League. But, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and I've got faith in my players to be able to turn this around. We've made some tactical tweaks. I think we can do it, especially when you've got passes like Kerem Demirbay. So Rog is going to get tackled, finds Andre. Oh! I thought that was a goal. I was certain that was a goal. Andre Gray hits the post, and you look at the match stats on the bottom right-hand side. I've got no idea what the hell's going on here, but the highlight continues. Gray picks the ball up. We are playing it a lot wider than we usually do, as you guys can see. Piacca's going to get tackled, though, by Donza, and we've got to be careful. It's AC Milan. It's an Italian side. They're always going to be looking to play on the counter-attack. We're a very counter-attacking team. Varjek whips the ball in. There was no way Marco Rog was going to win that header, and Piacca really should have at least really made the goalkeeper work from there. And it looks like we are going to be going in at half-time. The better team, more shots on target, but somehow 2-0 down. Obviously, we're going to be aggressive with the lads, but I'm not really sure there's much we can really even change. A part of me is tempted to maybe tell Douglas to be on more of a support duty to get him involved a little bit more, but the truth is that these guys are providing so much width and going so offensive that I do feel like he does need to be a little bit more defensive to be kind of the water carrier for the team. We'll change our sweeper keeper to be a little bit more attacking, and I'm actually going to reduce our width to fairly narrow, simply because I do want to focus more on that more centralised area of the park, and the fullbacks will continue to provide width. The more central this front three trio can be, the more likely they are to also kind of get shots on target. It was always going to be a game full of limited opportunities, limited chances, and I think come the 60th minute, if we've still not found a goal, go on, whip it in. Oh, yeah. Oh! He's missed. a third clear-cut chance, and I think we are going to have to make changes now. So Andre's been in really good form, but for me, he's going to have to come off now. We're going to tell Douglas to be on support. He's got to get, more involved from an offensive perspective. Piaka's on a 6, which is very, very surprising. Nano's got to come on, right, because he's our top goal scorer so far this season. Part of me also doesn't want to take Marco Rog off because I feel like he's actually played relatively well. I don't really feel like he's a player we should be taking off. So, in fact, we've got to bite the bullet with this one. So, right, this is what we're going to do. Kerem Demirbay is going to become our DLP on support. Nyang is going to... In fact, Rog is going to become our right midfielder. Nyang is going to now play on the right. And Nano is going to play down the middle. Just to get even more emphasis on these guys going forwards. They're going to turn into full-on wing-backs. We're going to change much more. We're going to increase our defensive line even more and increase our passing directness. And we've just got to keep on trying to create chances. We've not really got much more of a choice at this point. 75th minute, still not scored. These three might as well become strikers and we go even more direct. If we can at least get a goal back, yes, AC Milan have 2 away goals, but if we can at least get 1 goal back, then you can never rule us out in the second leg. So, let's keep the faith. It doesn't really feel like we did much wrong. You look at the match stats, we've had 17 shots. AC Milan have had 3 shots, 2 shots on target, and both have been the goals. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. We've had 3 clear-cut chances, and 2 of them had me screaming, and I've got no idea how on earth, what have I just done there? Demand more. How on earth we've not scored them? Overload. We need a goal. It's as simple as that. We could have a chance here, and it looks like we've got more players in the AC Milan half than they currently do at the moment. Like I said, just 1 goal. 1 goal. A pinpoint cross from Augustinsson. How's the goalkeeper saved that? Donnarumma. Another clear-cut chance. The game's mugging me off right now. Go on, Eleni, have a shot. Oh, it's another save from Donnarumma. I think you guys at home will be watching this and feel the exact same way I currently feel, to be honest. We've been robbed. We conceded 2 very sloppy goals. I won't deny that, but we've also created far more opportunities to score ourselves than AC Milan. I've played Football Manager for many years, and I've not felt this mugged off in quite a long time, to be fully honest. I guess we have to stay positive, guys. We created 4 clear-cut chances. We showed everyone watching at home that, yeah, we lost 2-0, but even though this is Italy's best team, we can take them. And for me, we showed with our performance today why we're top of the Premier League and why we're, in my opinion, becoming one of the best teams in Europe under my management. I just can't believe we lost this game. I don't think you guys will be able to believe it at home. We're just going to have to forget about it, try and build some decent form up until the next Milan game. But again, we really did need a good result here because with Arsenal and Man City and the FL Cup final, of course, being the Arsenal game coming up, fixture congestion is always going to be an issue. Hopefully Man City will take it easy on us because when you look at the Premier League, it would probably... Well, actually, anything can happen at this point. Man City would actually probably prefer getting 3 points over us and try and take advantage of any complacency we've got. So, guys, the end of the season's hotting up. I don't know what to say, really. I feel like we've been robbed today. The next episode will be the FL Cup final against Arsenal. Can we win it again? I don't know. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It would be awesome if we can reach 900 subs. Like, before the end of this series, that would be amazing. Subs keep on growing, so shout out to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. I know I've been talking about a Zidane tactical video. I was planning to actually do it at the weekend, but stuff popped up. I've made the tactic and everything. I just need to put the PowerPoint presentation together and record the damn thing. So hopefully that'll be out soon. But until next time, Can we beat Milan in the next leg? I just want to like fast forward to that game now. See you next time. Thanks for watching.